All right, hello again. This is Jeff Scott. Once again, I'm going to go and go over, not the guessing game, but I am going to go over the uh, prime number program right now. And again, this is a suggestion from me. Take it or leave it. Either way, it's up to you. But I would strongly recommend that let's suppose that the first program that you do for Homework 2 is the leap year program. I'm sorry, is the prime number program, the one we just did. Okay? So let's say you've got that done. Okay? I would suggest that you take it and copy it, paste it, and literally just change the name of it to leap year. Okay? Now you're going to have two programs that are exactly identical. But you're going to notice that there are so many similarities between the prime number program and the leap year program. So let's go in and actually take a look at these. So let me get rid of this and this, and let's open up these programs. So this is my leap year program. As I mentioned to you earlier, the CSS file is 100% identical. It's the same file. All right? So when we look at what else there is, ideally, again, what you'll notice is there are more similarities than there are differences. Let's do this one a little bit differently. This is the entire functions.php file. There is one file in there, or I'm sorry, one function that's called isLeapYear. You know as well as I do, this is going to catch at least 3 out of every 4 years. If the year that we're checking is not divisible by 4, so in other words, if you try to divide it by 4 and it does not have a remainder of 0, it cannot be a leap year, so return false. Otherwise, if the year is divisible by 100 and is not divisible by 400, so for example, the year 2100. Let's look at one that does work. The year 2000. 2000 is divisible by 100, goes in there 20 times. It is divisible by 400, goes in there 5 times. Right? But the year 2100 is divisible by 100, goes in there 21 times, if I'm doing my math right, is not divisible by 400. So that will not be a leap year. So if the year is not divisible by 400, if the year is not divisible by 4, evenly divisible by 4, or if the year is divisible by 100 but is not by 400, you return false. Anything else, you return true. So I'll leave that up there for about 30 seconds. And that is your functions.php file. So again, if it returns true, it's a leap year. If it returns false, it's not a leap year. So I know I'm doing this a little bit out of order, but no, I usually seem to do that anyway. We'll come back and look at that one more time in just a minute. Now tomorrow, Tuesday, December 1st, when I go into Blackhawk, I'll do the last problem. This is the third tape I'm making since I've gotten home today, and it's enough. Okay, I did one for the 119 class because I forgot to bring the microphone into work today. So I did a 50-minute tape there. I just finished a 30-minute tape, and this one will be somewhere around there, maybe a little bit less. All right, so the index file, again, we're including our functions.php file. Whoops. All right, we've got the comments, so that's our first 25 or 30 lines. This right here, what have I changed? All right, this says leap year, and what have I changed? Not very much. I changed that from prime number to leap year, here and here. All right. I kept this the same. This is my leap year start number and my leap year stop number. They are exactly the same. So to my knowledge, other than changing that line and other than changing that line, I believe that and the comments, of course, but what I'm talking about is the meat that's in here, lines 31 through 77. I believe the only changes I made were to change prime number program to leap year program and prime number program number 2 to leap year program number 3. I believe everything else in here is identical. So here's the display results. Again, we've got the big comment at the top. Okay, you know that. But let's look at how much of this we can use from what we had before. We're again including our functions.php file. We're again taking virtually everything we have in here that we want to check, and we're putting that to say if the user has submitted. Okay? Then at the very bottom, like we did before, we're going to print out our information. It's the same stuff we saw before. So let's look at what we can use in here. Well, that's the same. That's the same. These are the same. These are the same. Everything up through the first 40 lines is the same. But what I did was I changed from primes to leap years and from non-primes to non-leap years. This is the same. This is the same. This is the same to flip them. And all that's different in here is instead of saying is prime, I said is leap year. And if it is a leap year, we're pushing it into the leap year array. If it's not a leap year, we're pushing it onto the non-leap year array. And then in here, we change the heading here, and we change the heading here, here, and here. So what you saw a couple of minutes ago, and we'll come back and look one more time at the function, but what you saw a couple of minutes ago, let's just do this. So homework 2, we just looked at the prime number. All right, so let's just keep it simple. 1 and 100. All right, you already saw this. So there's our prime numbers. That's every number that is prime. That's every number that's not prime. Okay, that shouldn't be a big surprise to any of you. We just looked at this. But notice if I come in here now to leap years, and I put in the same thing, 1 and 100. We just looked at this. Now the numbers are going to be different, of course, because the criteria that we're using, what we have for our requirements is different. In the first case, we were looking for prime numbers. In this case, we're looking for leap years. But the idea is the programs themselves, they're not identical, but they're so similar in nature. So you've now seen in the index program, literally, you have to change the comment. You have to come in here and change it from prime number program to leap year program here, from prime number program number 2 to leap year program number 3 there. And I think that's it for the entire index.html file. I'm sorry, index.php file. For the display results, very similar. You've got to change the comment at the top. You've got to change these two lines here from primes, non-primes, to leap years, non-leap years. And then you've got to make the changes here. So instead of saying if is prime, now it's if is leap year. And if it is a leap year, you want to push it onto the leap year array rather than the primes array. If it's not a leap year, you want to push it onto the non-leap years as opposed to the non-prime arrays. Then in here, anywhere it says leap year or non-leap year, we want to change it, or where previously it said prime and non-prime or whatever it was, we change it to leap year and non-leap year. And again, our simple function, we pass in, we're calling this for our entire range. So in the example I just showed you when we went from 1 to 100, we're calling this 100 times. So again, let's do what we did before. All right, now this time I'm going to get rid of these. We're going to redo it. Let's do the easy ones first. Is 1 or 2 or 3 evenly divisible by 4? No. So that's going to return false. That's going to return false. And that's going to return false. 5, 6, and 7 are not evenly divisible by 4, so that'll return false. That will return false. That will return false. 9 is also not evenly divisible by 4. So we've already done 7 of our 10 that we have to check. Is 4 divisible by itself? Last time I checked it was, so that's true. Is 8 divisible by 4? Yes, so that's true. And is 10 divisible by 4? No, it's not. So what we should see in our run, under the things that were leap years, between 1 and 10, we should have had 4 and 8. And under the non-leap years, we should have had 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. 4 and 8, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. The only ones again in here, if we go from 1 to 100, that are a little different, is 100. Is 100 divisible by 100? Sure. Is 100 evenly divisible by 400? You know as well as I do it is not, so that should be false. So that should be in our non-leap years. And when we look, there's our leap years. We don't see 100. If we go down to our non-leap years, there's 100. Now hopefully that helped. All right, again, I will leave this up here for 30 seconds. Jump back again into the display results and to the index and leave both of them up there for 30 seconds. So let's just do them in order. So here's the index. You will now see this for, all right, you've got your PHP include once functions. All right. I'll leave that up there for 30 seconds. Go down, twirl down to the bottom, so to speak, a little bit more, and leave that there for 30 seconds. But again, you already know this. Change where it says leap year in prime number in the previous program to leap year in this program. Where it said number 2 in the previous program, change it to number 3 here. Everything else. So change this line, this line. Everything else you see on your screen is the same. And as we go down to the bottom here, there's nothing to change right here. Don't know why, but occasionally when I do that, I must put a weird control character or something in there. All right. So that's that one. That's the entire program that's the entire index.php file. For the display results, again, change the comment at the top of the program. Add your include file, and you probably would work without the include file because, now, I don't know if it needs it or not, but just leave it in there. What's different in this program? Previously, this said primes and non-primes. Now it says leap years and non-leap years. So everything that you see on your screen here, these lines from 28 through 53, the only thing that changes are those 2 lines. Everything else remains the same. Everything. So when we jump down to here, where we're doing our validation, nothing changes here. Nothing changes here. Nothing changes here. All right? So what I'm saying is we have to change lines 40 and 41 here, but other than that, starting with line 27, we go all the way down to line 84. So we've got 55 or so lines that do not change at all except for those two things. Here, of course, we've got to change, so rather than calling is prime, we call is leap year. If it is a leap year, rather than pushing it onto primes, we push it onto leap years. If it's not a leap year, rather than pushing it onto non-primes, we push it onto non-leap years. So a total of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Forgetting about the comments for a second. So starting in line 27 and going down to line 98. So in those 70 or 80 lines, excuse me, you just have to change a couple lines. And for right here, previously this said prime numbers, change it to leap and non-leap years here and here. And this said primes, change it to leap years. That said non-primes and change it to non-leap years. That's everything. That's the entire program. Hopefully that helped. When I come in tomorrow morning on December 1st, I plan on doing the last lecture for the guessing game. Until then.